Hey guys, I am Davey Wavy, and I'm here with Andrew Gurza.
Hey.
So you have a podcast called Disability After Dark, and we're going to record an episode of that today. But before we do that, we are going to get naked.
Yay!
You wanted me to call this video Getting Naked with a Cripple. That word makes me nervous.
Cripple for me is an important word. It's something that I have reclaimed. It's kind of a shield of armor for me to deal with all the ableism that I confront on a daily basis. I'm glad that it makes you uncomfortable because it means that we can talk about it and let's talk about why it's uncomfortable.
And let's make things even more uncomfortable by getting naked while we do it.
I'm so down for that.
Now, for you, the process of getting naked is a little bit different than it might be for me.
I am what the medical community refers to as severely disabled. So I can't do a lot for myself. I'm not dependent on somebody else, but I rely on a lot of other people. People who have never gotten me naked before are always kind of uncomfortable because they don't know how to do that. So don't feel shy. I'm not awkward with my body because people who are essentially strangers to me see me naked all the time.
Well, I'm gonna be shy and awkward. so.
Alright, let's be shy and awkward together. So you're gonna grab this arm.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna pull me forward this way. You're not gonna hurt me too good, and then you're gonna just lift the shirt up.
I just got a glimpse of butt crack.
Awesome. So this is me without a shirt on. Hey.
Oh, I should be doing this too. It's not just you getting naked.
If I wanted to take like a naked, like literally my whole body naked to like for somebody on an app or something, I then have to explain to my team of people that are working with me who don't necessarily want to be involved in my sex life why I'm naked and why I want to do this. The idea of having that privacy around your body and the autonomy to do that is really rare.
So let's get your pants off.
So for the pants, you're just gonna have to pull my pants up.
So
I'm gonna lift my ass up a little bit. Alright.
You are naked. Alright.
I am naked.
My turn, huh?
Yay, exciting.
I'm naked too.
Naked.
We're both naked.
Hi, world.
So why do you think people are so uncomfortable talking about sex and disabilities?
Because sex is already uncomfortable, and then disability is something for hundreds of years. The overarching belief on disability is that disability is wrong and the worst thing that could ever possibly happen to you. So because the disabled body is not something that's ever represented, especially as a queer man with disabilities, I don't ever see myself represented.
What do you want people to know?
I want them to know that it's okay to be afraid of it. The sexiest thing anybody could do around disability is say, you know what, I'm fucking scared of this and I don't know how to deal with this, but I'd like to learn more and let's talk about it. That's more honest than, hey, so I have no problem with your disability. It's okay, and then they get there and we start to get down, and then they realize that I need help, or that I'm really disabled, and they freak out.
What are some of the things that you're like sick and tired of hearing from other gay men?
Does your dick work? Can you get an erection?
Yeah.
And they'll ask me this either on an app or just as they're about to go down on me. It's like, okay, well, it would have worked if you didn't say that. Like, good night. So I always try to remember that, like, they're coming from a place of genuine, I want to know, but they have no context for disability, because if you did, you'd know that what you just asked me is, like, horribly offensive, but then they believe that I have the responsibility to, like, take it in and say, okay, well, what you said was really wrong. When sometimes I want to be like, fuck you, that was a horrible thing you said. I think people need to realize that, like, there's a person attached to these questions, and it's okay to have the questions, but I think in asking about disability, you have to have more tact. And I think these questions from our community are really telling that the queer community has a lot of work to do around different levels of diversity. We need to stop subtly body shaming people for having different bodies, especially as queer men. My body allows for things to be different and just as fun and just as sexy, but in a different way.
So originally, when we were gonna film this, you were like, oh, this video should be called How to Fuck a Cripple. How do you fuck a cripple?
I would want them to know that it is different. It's not gonna look like what we've seen in porn or what people are used to seeing, especially in our community. There's gonna be a lot more communication, there's gonna be a lot more discussion around like what needs to be done. So like before I'm with somebody, I like to sit them down and say, okay, here's what I wanna do, here's what I'd like to do. How can we achieve this? And so we actually sit down and have what I call a storyboarding your sex session. And then for me, like to get in bed, I have a sling in there. It sounds sexy, but it's really right.
That's a nice euphemism.
Yeah. There's a lot of other steps. The whole idea of like stumbling home to your apartment with a dude that you don't know and like throwing off your clothes is not realistic.
I would think that if you have to kind of like storyboard your sex session, that kind of communication becomes very intimate, which on one hand is great, but on the other hand, you don't always want that in sex.
Yeah.
Like if you really do just want to like...
If you want to just get off with a guy, I mean, sometimes I do, and sometimes I get upset because I get attached really fast to the people that I sleep with because I have to walk you through, like you saw, how to undress me, how to put a sling on, how to touch me the right way.
There's obviously a lot more to talk about, so we're gonna do a podcast. And I'm gonna put a link down below for people to listen to that. Well, Andrew, thanks so much for being here.
It was so fun.
This was a lot of fun. Thanks guys for watching, and as always, more to come.